Welcome in, Chuckin Bucket family. Listen, it's your boy Coach I. South Carolina women's basketball blast Arkansas 93-58. We're gonna be here to talk about it tonight, man. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get things started. Welcome to Chuckin Buckets Live. Chuckin Bucket Boys are back. It's been a minute since we did a live, man, because of the holidays. Hope everybody made it through the holiday season. Safe and happy holidays. If you're new to the channel, Chuckin Bucket is dedicated to talking about South Carolina women's basketball and some other SEC women's team that are out there trying to contend. Also, here on the Fanatic Sports Network, we're all SEC all the time. So sometimes other shows, we got SEC football, Georgia football, South Carolina football, all SEC football. But Chuckin Buckets is only South Carolina women's basketball. Without further ado, we're about to bring up the guys and get it going. First up is our guy, Jeff, the stat guy. What's going on, stat?
Yo, what up tonight, Coach?
Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. This game was over in 2 minutes into the third quarter.
What I tell you earlier today? Halftime, dog. Be over by halftime.
Be over by halftime, right?
Hey, unfortunately, we didn't get the cover, but I'll take an easy 35-point win.
Especially after the tight one on Florida, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and bring the third member of the Chuckin Bucket Boys in. It's our guy KB. What's going on, Biddles?
Fellas, how's it going, man?
Hey, good night for sports. South Carolina women's basketball, Oklahoma taking on Ole Miss and women's basketball. You got the college football playoffs. You loving it?
Yeah, man. Kind of flipping back and forth between some channels, man. Like you said, definitely football going on, but definitely had to check out our Lady Gamecocks and kind of see what they did tonight as well at the same time. But to your point, a lot going on in the conference tonight, man. A lot to kind of check out and see, like, who's hitting what and who's not.
That's right, man. That's right. Listen, if it's first time to the channel, welcome in. We appreciate you stopping by. Our Chuckin Bucket family gets active in the comments, which we love. So if you're new to the channel, just join in the comments. If you are a replay game, meaning you're watching this after we go live, feel free to comment and tell us how you felt about the game. Definitely a better performance, fellas, than the one on Sunday. The offense was kind of clicking early. And then Arkansas tried to give a little fight. You know, they kept it within 11-12 in the first half. But then the second half kind of pulled off. Stat, what you think? That was just South Carolina just getting in the groove and then just doing what they do, pulling off? Or did Arkansas do some different things that didn't work in the second half?
No, I think there in that first couple minutes of the second half, when it kind of got out of hand, you finally saw the talent gap. It just became too much. Arkansas played hard. I mean, you credit them. I felt they played hard for 4 quarters. I don't feel like they tapped out or anything like that. It could have probably been a lot worse had they done that. So credit to the Razorbacks for fighting for 4 quarters. But unfortunately, the talent gap is just too much for them to overcome tonight.
Right. Arkansas taking a lot of lumps on the chin, KB, this season early on, you know. So I think Alabama gave them a 25 or 30 piece. Who also wasn't they giving Kentucky some work earlier today?
I think they ended up holding on to beat Kentucky by like 15 or 17 or something, but they were up by like 20 earlier in the fourth quarter.
So, KB, looking at tonight's game, Gamecocks blowing out Arkansas. They blew out Alabama in the first game of the SEC. How you feel about the Gamecocks performance tonight?
Yeah. I kind of lean just kind of like Jeff, man. I think it was just too much talent from the SC side of things. Unfortunately, I think we're just seeing a bad Arkansas. And man, I hate to say this, man, but I don't think we got any better tonight. It's one of those things. I feel like we got some cardio in. You know what I'm saying? We hit some shots, but unfortunately, we still seeing some of the same things we seen last game. We seen some of the missed bunnies that we talked about in the previous one. We've seen some missed box outs. We seen under 70% from the free throw line. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things, like, we still have not corrected those things going into this game. But we give credit for the win itself, no doubt. But looking at it overall, I'm not sure if we got any better this game, just to be honest.
Well, a lot of people played, you know what I'm saying? We got some more reps, you know what I'm saying? Tack got in early, gave some decent minutes. The offense was clicking, but albeit against a very lesser opponent, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel you on that. I got Farrell in like he always is. Let's go Gamecocks. He said the game was over in the first quarter. Score-wise, as a former coach, if you're keeping it within, if you're Arkansas and you're keeping it within 15, back and forth in the first half, that's kind of being in the game aspect, especially when you're playing a program like South Carolina, right? Stat.
Yeah, but honestly, though, opening up that 20-7 run to open the game, I mean, you kind of knew right then, like, okay, it's a wrap. I think when the talent gap is as big as it is, I think you can't let it get above 7. I think once it gets above 7, it's kind of out of hand because you don't have the horses to pull it back close.
Right. So I want to bring to what KB was saying, not getting any better tonight. I was watching in the first half, and I was watching this specifically because of a comment from the preview you guys did for the game. Shout out to Roach Anthony 5114. He says Joyce is too smart of a player to be playing the way she's been playing. She's playing some selfish basketball. She's playing like Fuwali was. When you receive a pass doesn't mean you have to score all the time. This is not AAU basketball. Pass the ball when you are double teamed. So in the first half, all of what he just said was true. Every time she got the ball, she tried to score. Whether she was off balance, the only time she actually passed the ball, I think the one time she was under the basket, she was falling out of bounds, and she lost her balance and she inbounded the ball. Now, KB, I think you mentioned in a response to that, maybe it's she don't know how to do nothing but score.
Yeah. I think that's what we're seeing, man. He definitely hit it spot on, and we seen examples of that throughout the night. I think also in the second half as well. But one thing that I call out is like I hate seeing Joyce in the fast break with the ball, bringing the ball up. Like she came down, had a turnover, tried to set a girl up right, but her ball handling skills just aren't there to be Euro stepping or just getting to the basket. Like she only knows like downhill straight get to the basket. She gives me like that Julius Randle vibe when he first came in the league with the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like they said that bull and a China shop type vibe. When sometimes you just got to be delicate with that thing and be able to kind of make plays. And unfortunately, I didn't see it tonight either, man. I seen talent win tonight. I don't think I seen skill set get better, things of that nature. And also, just one more thing to call out: we go a stretch with not scoring, or we missed 10 shots in a row, or something like that. We go a stretch like that, that can't happen. I mean, this is against an Arkansas team. How does that happen against an Arkansas team? You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of looking at it from a high level, and things that if I'm a coach, that we got to nitpick, we got to pick away at some things, and like that just can't happen, no matter who we playing against. Right.
If you're just tuning in and you like, hi, fellas, we won by 30 plus. It's like, but we always hear talking about things that the Gamecocks need to get better at, because the Gamecocks are expected to compete and win national championships. It's not a Midland program where you can accept bad basketball even when you win. And great coaches talk about that. Talk about how they hate when they play bad but win, because it's hard to kind of coach the kids up. You know what I'm saying? So how you felt like Joyce played, and like what KB was talking about, going scoreless for 10 possessions or so.
Yeah. So first, the thing I would love to see from Joyce on the fast breaks is give it up to get it back. Give the ball up early, rim run, and get it back where you're comfortable, where it's just catch and lay the ball up. But that's just the coach in me beat my head against the wall. But it is, though, I know we probably drive people crazy, but we don't care about Arkansas. We knew we were going to beat Arkansas. What did we do tonight that gives us hope to beat Texas next week? What did we do tonight that's going to help us beat LSU in February? What did we do tonight that has us looking like we're ready to take on UConn in March or April? Right. And so that's the thing, is the big glaring thing is the offensive imbalance where you talk about those scoreless streaks. It's one of the things that kind of hindered us last year, where it felt like once a game we'd go these 3-4 minute stretches and just look abysmal offensively. And so we haven't really had that as much this year. And I think tonight you really see where you miss Latson, because we missed 5 or 6 shots. That next time down the court, we know what time it is. That's
Right.
why we brought her from Florida State. Latson, go get me a bucket. That used to be our gimme on when we were coaching and we in an offensive drought. We had a guy, go get me a bucket. So
Need a bucket. Need a
bucket. I don't care how, you go find me a bucket.
Right.
But she's back practicing, ramping back up. So I expect that she'll be back Sunday against Georgia. Probably not playing her normal minutes, but
right.
getting back game reps, getting ready for these bigger games. But still, you have all these 5 stars, you have all these McDonald's All-Americans. There has to be somebody that wants the basketball when things aren't going well. Everybody wants the ball when the ball's going through the basket for everybody, because everybody has the confidence. Who wants the basketball when things aren't going well?
Right. And I know Chuckin Bucket family, y'all like, come on, guys. It's 93-58. But if you give us a minute after this short break, we're going to talk about the positives from the night.
All right, y'all. Quick 30-second timeout. Let me put you on real quick. If you're listening to this, you already love women's basketball, and you know Elite is different. Elite looks different, sounds different, and feels different. Well, that's exactly how our friends at Kick-Aff Coffee Supply move. They're over in 5 Points, and this ain't regular coffee. This is top-tier championship-level coffee. They've got some of the best roasters in the world, like Say, Onyx, Black and White, and DAC, all in one spot. So instead of paying for a mid-cup every day, you can make world-class coffee at home. And the crazy part, you're probably already spending the money. You might as well drink something that actually hits. So here's what you do. Pull up Kick-Aff Coffee Supply, 617 Hardin Street in 5 Points, Columbia, South Carolina. Tell them Chuckin Bucket sent you, and you'll get 10% off your order. That's it. Simple. Upgrade your coffee game the same way your favorite team upgrades their roster. And as always, go Gamecocks.
That's right. Kick-Aff Coffee down in 5 Points in Columbia, South Carolina, man. Y'all go by there, tell them Chuckin Bucket sent you. Stat. Now we done coached them up, man. What's some things you liked about today, man, and some things that you want to see more of going forward?
Oh, first of all, I love that starting lineup. Got my girl Gotti in there. I know she didn't really get it going offensively, but guys, she can play the game of basketball.
Right.
Like I just am in love with her length and her athleticism and some of the things she's able to do to cause people trouble on the defensive end. And she is aggressive on the offensive end. So I enjoyed seeing her in the starting lineup. And then, of course, shout out to Oko with another double-double. Took her a couple of rebounds late in the fourth quarter, but brought it home. She did some things that were kind of head-scratching today, but she really has become the misconsistent 12 and 11 or so that we were expecting out of her at the beginning of the year, that we felt if we got that, we were going to be in good shape.
What about you, KB?
Definitely a couple of things. Just kind of glancing at some of the stats now, which we've always talked about points in the paint. I mean, we're looking at 48 points in the paint tonight, and anytime that we can dominate the paint like that, that's always going to be positive for us going forward. We've got to, like I said, I think we got to get to that 35 mark each game when we talk about points in the paint. Another thing that kind of stands out is just 3-point percentage. I know a lot of this was probably more tested than anything, but 54% from the three, which we haven't seen that high of a percentage, these last few games. But to speak on Tessa for a moment, man, I think we're starting to see her get into a little bit more of a groove as far as, I know, Stat, you want her to hunt her shot, but I think we're almost at the hunt part. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she's fully got to the hunting part, but she's a little bit more aggressive with her shot. She's shooting even with a person in her face. So I think the confidence is getting there, and obviously we're her leading the percentage with 3-point percentage, that helps as well. But I like how she's slowly coming along on the offensive side, because we're definitely going to need that, because you spoke about Latson earlier. When Latson comes back, she's going to get some attention, but I think that's going to get more open shots for Tessa that she's going to be able to knock down.
Right. I like the points in the paint tonight, 48 points to Arkansas's 20 points in the paint. Definitely doubling up somebody's points in the paint is going to be good. I like the fact that it was 93-58, and we still don't feel like South Carolina played their best basketball. You know what I'm saying? So got off to a hot start. Arkansas kind of went back and forth. The second quarter was 19-19, you know, but then in the third quarter, championship teams do what championship teams do. Got out early, blew the game out, and then, you know, coasted the rest of the way. I'm definitely with you, KB, on that three-point percentage. 53.8, I'm with that. Now, I don't like the 42.1 from Arkansas, even though it was a blowout, you know what I'm saying? So we talked about this earlier in the season where teams are getting shots on from the three-point line. They just weren't hitting them. I don't want them. I want it to be more like in the 30% when we're defending the three-pointer, you know what I'm saying? So, Stat, how you feeling about the three-point defense?
Yeah, and you know, that's one of the things I've harped on probably the most the last couple of years. But coming into this game, that's Arkansas's MO. They like to play a slow, methodical game, and they do hunt their threes. So honestly, the 42 is a little high. I was kind of hoping for I knew they were going to shoot it well tonight. I was kind of hoping 35 or so. But I mean, end of the day, I'll still take it. It wasn't like it was some crazy number that kept them in the game. We still won by 35, and we've definitely seen worse out of our three-point defense.
Right. So good win for the Lady Gamecocks there over Arkansas. Another conference win. It's always good to get a conference win. You want to stay in the hunt for the conference title. And that number one seed going into SEC women's play and a number one seed possibly in March Madness. Now, Gamecocks take on the Lady Bulldogs on Sunday. Should be another easy win in my estimation, even though it hurts me to say that about my Lady Dogs, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the standard. So now LSU beat the Lady Dogs pretty bad, 80-59. Now, first half, you know, there's kind of going back and forth, but second half, it was kind of all LSU, and then and especially in the fourth quarter. Now, we did see LSU lose to Ole Miss. Now, do we know if Ole Miss held on to beat Oklahoma tonight?
They did.
So Ole Miss is, I mean, we talked about this at the beginning of the year, Texas and South Carolina being the top two teams, Ole Miss and LSU right there. So while the Dogs gave the Tigers a good game for about 2.5, 3 quarters, I don't expect that this Sunday, KB, against South Carolina.
No, I definitely don't see that at all. Maybe first quarter, if we start out slow again, obviously we can let teams just stay around in the game on that first quarter. But by going into that second half, hopefully we've got Latson back as well. Whether she starts or doesn't start, I think she tries to fine tune her game and try to get ready for Texas, and not to look past Georgia. But at the end of the day, we need that get back going into next week. So I think we see fine tune on the lineup. I don't think we see as many players as we've seen today. Because again, I think we're fine tuning for Texas, and we know how Don gets in big games, whether it's Texas, whether it's USC.
Yes,
we're not going 9 deep. We not going 8-9 deep, but I think we see a little preview of that in the Georgia. Maybe we go 7-8. If it gets out of hand, obviously we'll see some of the the 9-10 rotation or whatever that looks like. But I think we're getting ready for that Texas game, rotational wise, for next week.
You think the same stat with the rotation? Would you going out with Georgia? Dawn's going to kind of attack it as if going to the Georgia game, attacking it as if it was Texas and not having a wide rotation, but more of a tighter rotation until the game gets in hand? Or you think she plays it the same way she did Arkansas?
Now the minutes for the starters might tick back up a little bit. And actually, it might be just like Arkansas trying to rest your starters a little bit. They've been playing 30+ pretty much the last couple of weeks with dealing with some different injuries. I will say this. I fully expect to have 2 extra girls on the bench come Sunday because I expect Latson to be back, and I think we get our first Allie sight.
I think it's a good spot to see Allie. The first time I wouldn't throw in. I don't know if I don't think Don's going to throw in the fire against Texas for the very first SEC experience. So I think you're right. I think we will get to see her. I don't know if it'll be 3-4 possessions. I don't know. I just think she definitely gets in the game, and if she's playing good, maybe she leaves her in for a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good call out. That I think we definitely see that again. I don't think the end score for the Georgia South Carolina game to be close. Maybe like you say, maybe first quarter, I don't know if the Dogs are shooting well, that type of thing, because they don't really have a half court offense. It's a lot of one-on-one, especially from the two guards that can really score. They tend to take a lot of bad shots. That's going to play right into South Carolina's hands, get out in the break. Shout out to Raven. I was watching Raven, man. I was like, Raven's playing she always plays defense and leads the floor, but like she's being more aggressive and more, I would say, confident on the offensive end, even though she's only putting in, 12 to 15 a game or whatever. I think, shout out to Raven, man. I think that's big for South Carolina this year, especially while Latson is out. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think that might be a blessing in disguise, man, with Latson going out and give Raven that confidence going in. And she's definitely stepped up, to your point.
Right. Ed, Mr. SC Bread. I know we ain't seen you in a while, man. We ain't been live, but we back. Hope you had a happy holidays. He said SC native Sadia Roundtree was in the building in Athens for LSU versus the Lady Dogs. Better guard than Staley. Sadia was my classmate when I was at Georgia, and she's from Anderson. She went to Westside. I won't fight you on that, but I wouldn't fight somebody if they said Staley was better. I definitely am partial to Sadia because I went to school with her and played against her a couple times at the rec center. But Staley was a hell of a guard too. She was in attendance tonight. And she's been going to the last couple of games. She's back here in South Carolina in the upstate now. So shout out to Sadia Roundtree. She's somewhere. Y'all can't see her because we three on the screen, but she's somewhere on the wall. Asia too. You know what I'm saying? I like to respect the good SEC people from the state of South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So what you got on that stat? You seen both of them. Sadia was a dog, and Staley was that chick. What you think?
Oof.
It's a tough one.
I'm kind of with you. Somebody wants to make an argument. I ain't gonna fight them on it, but I gotta rock with the one that's down to wear the garnet and white, not just the one that's from the state. But you know what though? I will give it to Roundtree. When she went to Georgia, y'all would like that. And South Carolina's women's basketball program was not that. So I ain't mad at her for bouncing from the state and going to a big time program at the time.
Right. If somebody like a dog was at the helm in Columbia, she would have been a Gamecock. What you think, KB?
Yeah, I definitely give the edge to Sadia as well. Just definitely from a collegiate standpoint. Maybe overall we can kind of speak from Don's next level past college and things like that. But Sadia, she was a dog, man, for sure. And Dawn was good. Don't get me wrong. The Virginia team was good. She definitely was leading that team. But man, like talking about trying to get a bucket, that type of. And I lean towards some players like that that's got that dog mentality. Not saying Dawn didn't have a dog, but Sadia was a different type of dog. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No pun intended to the dogs, but yeah.
Right. Listen, the Dogs this coming Sunday, they could use a Sadia Roundtree or her running mate Kedra Hollencorn. So that's another thing. Sadia did. I think at Virginia, Dawn might have had all the burden on her shoulder. I'm not saying no disrespect to anybody she played with, but I mean, if anybody watched Virginia back in the day, you knew if you stop Dawn, you stop anybody. But if Sadia had a bad game, Kedra was there, and then Lakeisha Fred and a whole bunch of WNBA players. So.
The crazy thing about that Virginia team, two of Don's teammates had a Disney movie made about them.
Right.
The Burgess twins.
But yeah, so but this Saturday, hey man, here in 2026, this Sunday, I don't think the Lady Dogs gonna have they 15-2, but they didn't have a hard out of conference schedule. That's one thing I like about Dawn at South Carolina. She's not afraid to take on, go to the Las Vegas and play Duke, who was preseason ranked. We didn't know they wasn't going to be good. And then with a chance to play Texas and UCLA, then go ahead and play Texas. They play the Louisville team, because those games, whether close or not, play SC out in California, you know what I'm saying? Those type of games prepare your team mentally. You know what I'm saying? If you go out and bludgeon everybody, and you don't face any adversity, like the Texas loss may prove out to be, better for South Carolina than going out and beating them by 20 that early in the season. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down the stretch, we'll see how that goes next week. But this Sunday, tell me how you think that game's gonna go overall, Stat.
It's at home. like I said, I think Latson's back. I think Latson will be back in the starting lineup as well. I don't think she'll play her usual minutes, but I do think she gets the start. And then I do think we get our first Allie Sighton and see what 6'7" actually looks like running up and down the court. Maybe get us a little two-hand flush. That'd be nice. But no, I think end of the day, the Gamecocks are just too much. And honestly, you talk about styles make fights, and Georgia's what they look to do, whether it works or doesn't work, plays right into South Carolina's hand. They're very guard heavy, but not with moving the ball. They like to play kind of that one-on-one game, and that could be problematic if they force up some bad shots. South Carolina gets out in that secondary transition. It could get ugly quick.
What about you, KB? How you see this game? Well, actually, before we go, Stat, give me a score prediction.
South Carolina 97, Georgia 52.
Do my dogs
30.
Sorry.
I'm going to take a spread on that. It might be 30 points at home on the spread, though.
Right.
But yeah, I think we do see another South Carolina win. I think we see them break away. Maybe early in the third, late in the third, early in the fourth. But yeah, I can see 90 points here as well. Maybe like 90, maybe like 90, 65, 90, 68, something like that. I do think we do see Latson come back, and hopefully she kind of gets in the groove, whether she's starting or not. The Allie thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see her play, but I'm definitely curious on how Dawn decides to fit her in. Like I said, obviously she's going to be taking somebody's minutes. I think she's got the right players at the end of the bench to try to, put their egos to the side. If we're talking about Tack, we're talking about Dowda, because those are probably the minutes that she's probably going to take if she does get any minutes at all. And you got to, from a teammate perspective, you've got to have the right mindset when something like that happens. You got to be the right teammate when you talk about that 9th person, 10th person, 11th person on the bench. And I'm definitely just kind of curious how Dawn kind of manages those things. Obviously, we're not playing rec ball, we're not playing wild ball. This college right now, so we can't be in our feelings with somebody coming in here and take some minutes. But at the end of the day, she fresh off the street. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real about that. She's a professional. She played over there, not proven on the college level, but a little semi-proven on the professional level with the little minutes that she was getting. But I'm definitely curious how that plays out, though. Kind of going forward and going into next year as well. Do we see some transfers? Like, obviously we know Dowda's leaving, but yeah, definitely curious on the play on Tack going into next year.
So you got the Gamecocks scoring 90. What you got as a score prediction?
90-65.
Yeah, give us a little bit. We appreciate it. Well, for the Dogs, and if listen, to have any chance to make the game look decent, I don't think they have a chance to win, but to make the game look decent, Trinity Turner, who's the second leading scorer, and Danny Carnegie had to be on. If they aren't on, then the game's going to be, like stats say, probably uglier than the Arkansas game. Now, Danny Carnegie, I'm interested to see the defense and what we talked about earlier, the 3-point percentage defense from South Carolina, because Danny Carnegie has hit 53s this year. She's 42% from the line, from the 3-point line. So I'm interested to see how they guard her, and if they, if she's averaging, I want to say almost 20 points a game. So again, they need her to play big. I don't think that, just talent wise, regardless of whether they're playing good basketball or not, I think South Carolina gets the big win here just because they're too talented overall. So anything else before we wrap this thing up, fellas?
Yeah, what's your score prediction?
Yeah. South Carolina, a whole bunch, and Georgia, not enough.
And I did.
I'm gonna go a little bit. I'm gonna say 87-60.
Okay. And I do got a question from you more on the SEC front. For a team like Georgia that's trying to be a tournament team, do you like how they approach the schedule making of a softer non-conference, load up a bunch of wins, and then let the SEC schedule carry your strength of schedule?
Well, Coach, her philosophy was, a lot of new pieces. So let's get some easy games to get some cohesion. I'm kind of down with that. I still would have liked to see, you play 15 out of conference games, maybe 14. I'm going to say that. Out of 14 out of conference games, I like to see 2 that maybe they're not top 25, but they're receiving votes. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you take a loss, because yes, I do think we should get some cohesion going, but also let's get some adversity going so we can see how the girls respond. And we saw that. Now, I will shout out to the Lady Dogs. They were down big to Texas A&M. I want to say about 15, 16 or so in the second half. Ended up coming back, beating them in overtime. They had a lead on Ole Miss for a good portion of the game. But then Ole Miss I don't even think in that game it was talent. I think it was just Ole Miss ended up playing better basketball because I do feel like they're coached better. Because Ole Miss, I mean, we talk about it all the time. We like Ole Miss's coach. They're going to fight till the end. They end up winning by like 16, I think it was, after the Dogs held the lead for, majority of that game. So I'm not against the for a program at this day and age like Lady Dogs, I'm not against the, fluff schedule in the beginning, because we all know if they can get to like 22 wins, then they're a pretty good chance they can make it to the tourney. And at the point where we are, that's the first step. Let's make it to the tourney. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it to the tourney. And then after you make it to the tourney a couple times, let's make it to the Sweet 16 possibly, until we can get back on that level. So I'm not opposed to it for them. Now, just a side note, for our boys, I am opposed to it for sure. I am opposed to it because when we ran into adversity, because the boys program is further along than the girls program. So I'm definitely against it. What about you, KB? You like it for the Lady Dogs?
Kind of based on what you're saying, man, I kind of agree with that. A little bit more on the history on the as far as the program goes. But yeah, if you're just trying to build something, you can't throw girls out, or boys even for that matter, that's get their head beat every night. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it's a confident. You being confident, you picking up bad habits, like I said, then I'm coaching differently. If I'm the coach, I'm yelling all the time because they not doing what they do. But it's all about, setting your team up for success, but also knowing your team as well. If I know I don't have that type of team right now, I need to put my team up against talent that's probably equal or maybe slightly better, so that we get ready for conference play. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to get ready for conference play with that type of team, and then from conference play, okay, let's get the SEC tournament. Let's get to the big tournament. This is not like a LSU or a Lady Gamecocks where we're gonna get ready for the conference, but at the end of the day, we're trying to get to the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get to another Final Four. So it looks different for every team, but I'm not opposed of it from a team like that though.
Right, because 14 out of conference games for me, my thought process for like a South Carolina, 14 out of conference games, you should probably play. It should probably be like broken up into 3 phases. You know what I'm saying? 1/3 of the teams are just cupcake. Let's get this school some money games. Another third of the teams are teams possibly receiving votes, or teams that had a good year last year that might not be as good. And then the other third, I actually do want to see you play some bangers. Again, we didn't know Juju was going to be hurt when the game was scheduled. You know what I'm saying? For SC. UCLA and Texas, and again Louisville, Duke, those type of teams, preseason ranked. I do think because you want to keep your iron sharp with them. You don't want them not playing anybody. Whereas with Georgia, probably only about about 2 to 4 teams, somebody receiving votes. I don't know if we need to be playing nobody in the top 20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say maybe the thing to look to add next year is, instead of those 4 or 5 teams that are like head beaters, let's go truly test ourselves. Go find 4 or 5 teams from the other major conferences that are middle of the road to lower half, because you would still rather beat up on a bad ACC team. Like go try to pick a fight with Clemson, because that Clemson win will do way more for you than Georgia Southern.
Right. So pick some Georgias, but in the other conferences.
Right.
Yeah.
Got you. So hopefully my Lady Dogs can get back to the Andy Landers days, but hey, that's for another topic though. We appreciate y'all coming to rock with us. We just want to get in here, give our thoughts after the game. Shout out to the Lady Gamecocks for getting the big win over. Listen, any SEC win, regardless of the team, regardless of the score, is a big win. Conference wins are always good. Again, looking to be the number 1 seeded in the women's tournament here in Greenville in the upstate. Again, if you're going to be there, the Chuckin Bucket Boys will be out in effect for the South Carolina, game. Definitely the South Carolina games. I know me and KB, I think we called a couple of other games last year, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Some good ones though too, man. Definitely good time, man. So everybody come on out, man, if you're in the area.
Right. The SEC women's tournament tickets are already on sale, so you might want to jump on those, get some of those general admission tickets. And Look out for the preview video for South Carolina versus Texas next week. And shout out to my guy, one of my other classmates. We was in here. What's going on, Mike? We was talking about Saudi around treat earlier. You know, one of the guys got in here says, you know, compare her and Don Staley's playing career. That's just my guy. He went to school with us as well. So, but yeah, we appreciate everybody getting in. If you are on the replay game, get in the comments. Tell us your thoughts on the game. Tell us your thoughts on the newbie coming in, possibly on Sunday, since that say we think we're gonna get a sighting, and what you want to see from the Gamecocks going forward. For my guys, Stat Guy, KB, I'm Coach I. Chuckin Buckets. We out of here.
Peace.